think we should just dive into the big contract that the Jaguars just gave to Trevor Lawrence. So he signed. They signed him to a 5-year, $275 million extension. Puts him at $55 million annual average salary. And I believe it had $200 million in guaranteed money. So Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion, super duper awesome average quarterback, got paid like he's very good. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Trevor Lawrence for a little bit.
Man, Trevor Lawrence is kind of interesting to me, right? I think the problem with Trevor Lawrence is there's so much expectations coming out. Like he was so good in college. His pre-draft stock, like all you heard was like, oh, he's the next Luck. Like we got to take him, you know? So for me, his numbers, when you look at his numbers aren't bad. It's just, they're over 4,100 the last 2 years. His interceptions went up a little bit the past year, but also was pretty banged up. He's a guy that had pretty much played every game in his NFL career until this past season. It's kind of crazy seeing him being in the same range with like a Joe Burrow, and he's tied for the top annual salary as far as quarterbacks. But he's paid. He did good. He did good for himself.
I've been posting some of this stuff on Twitter, and it was in relation to obviously things with the Browns. But I mean, it just goes to show that the quarterback market in the NFL it's going up. Obviously, the value of quarterbacks and the price you have to pay to keep a top tier guy is going up, and the production that top tier guy has to put out in order to achieve that high pay is going down. Because Trevor Lawrence, I mean, overall, he's got a 20-30 record. He's got a career 63.8% completion. He's got 6.7 yards per attempt for his career, 58 total touchdowns to 39 interceptions, so not mind-blowing. His quarterback rating for his career so far, which has been 3 seasons, is an 85. His numbers are very pedestrian. I mean, I've shared the graphic on Twitter about how the comparison to his career and Gardner Minshew's, and they're damn near identical.
It's crazy.
And I think we might have even talked about that on this show already, that I mean, here's this guy, number 1 overall pick. Like you said, the hype was through the roof, highly touted.
Yes.
Just got paid. He's tied for the highest paid quarterback in the NFL right now with Joe Burrow. Yep. And his numbers compared not to Joe Burrow, but to Gardner freaking Minshew.
Right. He's a guy going into the season. I thought like the Jacksonville maybe had to have like some serious conversations about whether you extend him. Now, obviously, like they believe that the talent's there. But last season was kind of rough. Last season, things really, really fell apart. I know just with the Browns game, I believe he threw 3 interceptions just in that game. As far as like in a fantasy outlook for him, like if you have Trevor Lawrence, I think you're okay. You know what I mean? You, especially now after this contract, like his value probably couldn't get any higher than right now. You know, you're locked in for 5 years, theoretically. They're paying you like a top tier quarterback. But I think there's serious question marks with Trevor Lawrence. That's fair.
So we're going to be doing dynasty stuff the rest of this show. So let's talk about that last. But as far as redraft for Trevor Lawrence, I guess I need to look at like where his redraft ADP and stuff is for that. But so let's see here. Quarterback. Looks like Trevor Lawrence is down here at QB 16, 103 overall. So, trying to figure like when. I guess I don't really know what round that is, but anyway, so 103 overall, QB 16. Like he's going right behind Tua, Caleb, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, and he's going right in front of like Jaden Daniels, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers. So, his value in redraft is definitely down there, which I think it should be.
It's fair. I mean, give me Kirk Cousins over. Give me Kirk. If you get fantasy production like you have the last couple of years from Kirk Cousins, and give me Kirk Cousins at, what was that, 18?
Kirk Cousins at 18, yep.
Yeah, give me some Kirk Cousins at 18.
I would take the swing on Jaden Daniels this year at 17 over Trevor Lawrence at 16 for sure because of the rushing upside, the unknown. he could come out and produce like a top tier quarterback. We don't know, but we already know. I mean, Trevor Lawrence he runs a little bit, not a lot, not like people were expecting him to. And sorry, I got something in my throat there. I don't know, man. Like the passing just isn't enough to be like a plug and play. He's my quarterback every week kind of guy in a redraft league. And last year I know there were a lot of touchdowns that were almost touchdowns, didn't get caught or whatever. So his stats could have been better, but still he doesn't throw touchdowns at a high rate or anything like that. So he's kind of like a late round QB strategy type guy. If you're going to stream the quarterback position, maybe throw him, maybe get him and Deshaun Watson's down at 21. I think you could rotate between those two this year.
That's fair. Yeah.
One of them decides, hey, this is going to be more of a permanent thing. I mean, do you want Trevor Lawrence or you want like Derek Carr at 25, like rounds and rounds later?
Man,
I don't think they're that much different.
I think I'm saying, I know. I think I'm still taking Trevor Lawrence. I think he'd be nice in like a second QB role. You know what I mean? Like in a super flex, if he's your OP spot, I don't think you're hurting. You know what I mean? Like now, if he's your QB, like he's your QB1, that might not be that successful a strategy.
No, it might not be at all. So, all right. So how about this? So I just said Trevor Lawrence or like, I think what was he like one whatever. He's in the 100, whatever. And then 50 picks later, you could get Derek Carr. So if you took Trevor Lawrence right now, you would have to decide between taking Trevor Lawrence or taking a guy like Xavier Worthy or Brock Bowers or Rome Odunze or TJ Hawkinson or Ladd McConkey, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Are you taking Trevor Lawrence over all those guys I just named?
If I don't have a second QB and it's super flex?
No. Yes. One quarterback.
Oh, you're just saying one QB and you haven't taken a quarterback yet?
Right.
I don't know, man. I feel like even rolling Derek Carr out as your QB is a dicey strategy. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. But I don't think I would pass on. Like, I'd rather wait and I'll just take Derek Carr later. I'll take Xavier Worthy or Rome or Hawkinson or McConkey or take a flyer on one of these skill guys here because the skill guys down the board when you're picking Derek Carr aren't going to be nearly this good.
I agree. I get that strategy. I am not on that strategy.
No, okay.
My value on QB and I think it's just from like a super flex man like standpoint and stuff like that. I've just been burned so many times. I'm like, I want an elite quarterback. I want a top 5 guy. And, I'd be willing. I'm real big on it. Try to get to one of the top 3, whether it's Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and it was, Mahomes. I think his numbers last year, maybe he slips a little bit further down, but I mean, I want one of those guys and then I'll figure out the rest. But for me, my value on quarterback is super, super high.
That's fair. I know. And I feel like quarterback value, even in the one quarterback, has shifted over the last couple of years just because the top guys are so top, like they're so much better than the rest of the bunch that they are worth taking a swing on most of the time. But if you don't get them, like for me, if I don't get one of those top 3 guys, then I am late round QB. Like that I let my draft strategy I let the board dictate how I draft. I don't go in saying, I am getting a top guy no matter what. Well, if all 3 of those top guys go before I can take him, I better be able to change my mindset real quick. So it's just stay fluid, whatever happens during the draft, just roll with it. And like I said, if I don't get one of those top guys, then I'm looking at Kirk Cousins or one of these guys later. And I'm probably going to take like a Jaden Daniels with a high upside and maybe a Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, somebody I know that as long as they're on the field, they're going to produce. And then just mitigate my risk.
What about even like a guy for me, like Dak Prescott? I feel like Dak Prescott is always kind of slept on. And then, you get his numbers, regardless of what you want to say about the playoffs, his regular season numbers are fantastic, like league winning. Dak
is a great quarterback to target. Now he's going to be more of a he's not going to be a late round quarterback. Like if you want to punt the quarterback, like he's QB7 right now off the board. So he's going to be mid round. He's going right out. Now, if you want like, in my opinion, elite upside, a guy who could finish QB 1, 2, 3, but you don't have to take him anywhere close to there would be Anthony Richardson. He's QB6. He's going at like pick 47, where Josh Allen, you got to take him at pick 17 right now. So
right.
You know, that would be my swing in the middle rounds, maybe like a Jordan Love. Honestly, a guy that I would like to maybe target in some single quarterback leagues this year, if I don't get those top guys, would be like Kyler Murray, quarterback.
Yes,
10.
I'm big on Kyler Murray for sure.
He could have a really good season. Brock Purdy was good last year for fantasy. But Trevor Lawrence, man. So, mamas, don't let your kids grow up to be running backs. Make them be subpar, just average at best quarterbacks, and they gonna get paid. So that's what we're learning right now.
Yes.